Welcome back to Small Caps, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kerry Stevenson. I've asked Mike Dunbar, who is the Managing Director of Mamba Exploration, to come back and give us a little bit of an update. Last time we spoke to Mike was back in January, so a good 6 months has gone past. When we last spoke to him, there was a lot of drilling going on around their Calyerup Creek project down south. They also had some projects up north. So, Mike, welcome back to Small Caps. Great to see you.
Great to see you as well, Kerry, and thanks for everyone tuning in. So it's a good opportunity.
Yeah, it is a good opportunity because you've been busy. So first up, Calyerup Creek is the gift that keeps on giving. Can you just give us an update on the drilling that you've done around there? Because the results have been pretty outstanding from what I've been looking at.
Yeah, look, they have been. So when I actually did the chat with you last time, I was down at Calyerup Creek drilling. I was actually, I was out on site at the time. We completed around 32 holes on the southern target area that we have at Calyerup Creek. Mm-hmm. And as you mentioned, some really good success. 30 of the 32 holes we drilled on that target, 27 came back with significant mineralisation, over 0.5 gram of gold. The best intersections, 15 at 2.2, 15 at 2.1, from very, very shallow depths. So that's been a really, really outstanding discovery. We've now identified that over 500 metres of strike length, but only to a depth of around 30 metres.
Oh, wow.
And the reason for that is we just wanted to understand the very shallow levels of that system first before starting to drill deeper. So we've got plenty of work to do there. We'll be coming back to Calyerup Creek in the coming summer months at the end of this year, because we've got a lot of unfinished business there, extending it further from 500 metres strike so far, and start to do more drilling at depth as well. So a fair bit going on there, which is just a really good opportunity, yeah.
Has it surprised you to the upside, Calyerup Creek? Because you had, when we last spoke, you were very confident that there was something there, but to get good strong mineralisation in 27 out of 32 holes, that must give you good confidence that this is something that is going to grow and going to bring value to shareholders in the long term.
Absolutely, it will. I've got no doubt about that. You don't see a system like the southern prospect at Calyerup Creek, which is only about 500 metres of the 4 kilometres of soil anomaly that we've got identified so far. We've only drilled that small portion, and you don't have that kind of strike rate or success in shallow drilling very often. So that gives me a lot of confidence that that area will continue to grow. We'll extend that 500 metres of strike length to 1 kilometre or beyond from this next program and start drilling deeper holes. So it's certainly going to be a focus for us going forward, and it's a really good opportunity to grow that system, which really has been completely forgotten about for a very, very long time. So yeah, really excited about Calyerup Creek, but really that's part of the story of Mamba. As we mentioned last time, Mamba has got projects in the southern areas which we can work during the summer months, and we also have a very, very large tenement package up in the Kimberley, which we can really only work in the winter months. So we've got this two very distinct football season, if you like, and cricket season. So we'll play cricket and work down south, or the projects in the northern area in the Kimberley that we'll work during footy season. So,
well, how far through are we? How far through the cricket season are we? Is cricket done and we on to footy?
Yeah. Cricket's we've hung up the bat, so to speak, and we've now moved on to the footy season.
But hang on a second, sorry, Mike. But before you do move on to the footy season, do you then take those? Are you still working on the analysis and what the next steps are when the next cricket season comes around? In other words, you might not have the drill rig moving down there, but you've got plenty of results to try and figure out what the next best steps are. Is that right? Because you're not just moving off it, so to speak.
Oh, no, certainly not moving off it by any stretch of the imagination. The field activities have moved off it.
Right.
But that doesn't mean we're not working on, and we are continuing to work on, if you like, the boring bits. So a program of works approvals, which we've now got, flora and fauna studies, environmental studies that we've now done that show that we can continue to work down in that area. Heritage surveys that are planned for late this month, early next. So getting all of the groundwork, if you like, ready and all of the administrative stuff ready before we get back on the ground later in the year. So we use this, that while we can't play cricket, we can get ready to play cricket, and we can keep fit for cricket, if you like.
Great.
While we're continuing to also work on the northern projects during the footy season.
It's a really smart way of doing it because, as you say, you know, the Pilbara, goodness me, you can only work in certain months of the year because you don't want to work when it's 60 plus degrees up there. But anyway, it's now footy season. Yep. So what's happening up north in the Kimberley, the Ashburton project?
Yeah, so the Kimberley is really going to be our focus. What we've managed to do recently, and announced it just last week, was we've managed to acquire an option to purchase a new project to add to our Kimberley portfolio of rare earth project, halfway between PVW Resources discovery, rare earth discovery, and the Browns Range rare earth development. Halfway between those, effectively, we've secured a new project looking for rare earths, and really quite an exciting opportunity to secure a really interesting horizon. I won't bore all of your listeners with all the geological gobbledygook, but there's a unconformity between the Killy beds, a particular sedimentary unit, and the Gardner sandstone above it, and it's that contact that's the target horizon that hosts the mineralisation that PVW has found to the south of us, and they intersected, from rock chip sampled, up to 12.5% rare earths, and a lot of them were the heavy rare earths, which are the ones you want.
Let me stop you for a second there, Mike, because I'm going to be blunt. Yep. My audience likes it when I'm blunt. Everyone is talking about how they've got a rare earth project, and I don't mean to be rude, but don't you have enough on your plate? Why would you want to, are you just doing this because rare earths is the flavour of the month, if you like? Sorry to be blunt, but, you know, that's what I think people might, why do this now? Haven't you got...
Yeah, the strategy for Mamba has always been to be in key minerals and be exploring for key minerals that we will be needing, we as a society will be needing going forward. So we've always had a focus of copper, nickel to a lesser extent, and gold, which, while that isn't necessarily future facing in terms of decarbonising and the future, certainly the copper and nickel is. And that's why we've had a focus on those. And the opportunity to secure a rare earth project adds to that portfolio of forward-looking commodities that we'll continue to search for. And on top of that, we have the project that we've got is relatively close to the Copper Flats project. And so we can actually work both of those in conjunction with each other and allow us to progress our Copper Flats project, which we're kicking off a very major soil sampling program there later this month and early next, as well as have this other sub-project, if you like, just to the south of the Copper Flats project, which adds to the portfolio of projects and really gives us another arrow in the quiver, so to speak, to be able to progress not just our existing assets, but also new opportunities that arise as well.
Okay, so if this Don project, I love the name, the Don project, the mighty Don. If this Don project that you've talked to us about why it's an option and what the structure is and how it's going to work. And I guess why shareholders, either current shareholders or people that are looking at Mamba Exploration, should look at this as a big tick. So I just want to understand this, A, the strategy, and B, what the deal actually is.
Yeah, okay. So I'll go into the deal to start with, and having an option to acquire the project is a very, very inexpensive way for us to get exclusivity over this whole area. And the area we're talking about is between PVW's discoveries to the south and Browns Range to the north. So Browns Range is currently in development. It's a very substantial rare earth project, and PVW's discovery to the south. That whole region really is becoming a new rare earth province that had been previously underexplored and certainly hasn't been progressed as much as it could have been or should have been, in my view. So we've secured it as an option, and it's an option to purchase the rest of the 100% of the project. That gives us if you like, a right to try before you buy. So nice. We can go up there. We can go up there between now and 3 months after the tenements are granted. So they're applications at the moment. It gives us an opportunity to go out there, do some rock chip sampling, do some surface sampling, and understand the system better before we commit to the purchase. So it's a try before you buy, if you like. We can go up there and do a relatively very low impact exploration to test the theory of the particular unconformity that we're chasing, and to confirm that is fertile for rare earths, and then we can decide whether we progress with the acquisition and actually pay the shares or issue the shares, which is the consideration. Now, the option itself is $25,000 of cash, and to exercise the option is $100,000 worth of Mamba shares. So okay. It's a relatively inexpensive entry, and that's a good opportunity for us to get in there. We can have a really good look at the area first before we have to commit to doing it. And the strategy behind it and why. As I said, it adds to our portfolio of projects up in the northern part of WA, and it adds to that forward future-looking commodity space that we want to be in, which is the copper, nickel, rare earths, and yeah, we would certainly look at lithium as well, but it would have to add to our portfolio if we were to look at any lithium projects or any other projects. And it's having a portfolio of assets that will always be looking at improving the portfolio and upselling, if you like, the portfolio. And a little bit of an example of that, and to paint a picture of why this strategy of having a portfolio of assets that you add to is really a similar strategy to the likes of Evolution Mining have had for the last, Jake Klein's had this for the last, well, goodness knows how long, but having a portfolio of assets and transitioning from the current portfolio to a new portfolio and additional improvements of the portfolio over time. And so that's really what we're continuing to look at doing, looking at our portfolio, assessing it, and moving on from areas that we don't believe will add value to shareholders, and looking for opportunities that will add value for shareholders. So it's a constant evolution of the portfolio, and this just adds to that, if you like.
Are you quite strict when it comes to figuring out, if this is a project? Like, are you quick to say, yes, this has got value, yes, this needs more work, or you know what, we're done, move on? And yep. How quickly can you do that? And if you do it too quickly, can you make mistakes?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can make mistakes. There is no question about that. And the world's full of people who have made mistakes, and other people have come in with a new set of eyes, for example, and made discoveries where other people have glossed over. So absolutely you can make mistakes. However, we've already pulled together all of the historical data that for the Don area, okay, from historical explorers, and they're the likes of BHP in the 80s drilled the area for uranium-hosted, unconformity-related or hosted uranium deposits. And so that's what the target horizon has historically been, a uranium target. However, it really wasn't explored or even assayed for rare earths. And so that's the opportunity. And quite often these unconformities, there is an association with uranium anomalism and in the unconformity and rare earths. It's exactly the same at PVW, exactly the same at Browns Range. And some of the mineralisation and work that's been done on the Don has got anomalous uranium and up to 1.55% yttrium which is one of the rare earths,
Yeah.
and it's the only one that really most people assay for in any multi-element suite. And there are some very high yttrium values from the historical sampling, but none of it has ever been properly sampled for rare earths. So there's a great opportunity there. We've got the building blocks, if you like, for us to then go up there and test it. To come to your question about how quickly can we turn it over, if you like, very quickly. I'm actually flying up and going to site next week. I'll be on site next week for about a week and a half to evaluate the 25 odd kilometres of unconformity that we have.
Actually, just let me stop you there for a moment. Give me a visual, because you talked about PVW, which have actually got quite a good project. Are they to the south?
Yes. Yeah. So they're about 50 kilometres to the south of us.
Are you on the same structure as PVW?
Yeah. Yes, we are. The unconformity itself is between the Killikilly sediments and the sand and the Gardner sandstone above that. And so it's that horizon, if you like, that you're targeting. Yes, we've got the Killikilly at the top of the Killikilly in our tenement package, as they have, and they've got the Gardner sandstone above it, and so have we. So yes, it's not a structure as a lot of people understand structures, because these unconformities can be relatively flat lying, and because it's on their sedimentary basin, they are laterally quite extensive, but you only see them where the area has been eroded into that unconformity, if you like. So yes, it's the same horizon. It's just they're further to the south of us, and further to the north you've got Browns Range as well, which again similar unconformity related system.
You said when we last spoke that 2021, which is when you listed, was the foundation year. That's when you were doing a lot of work, but people weren't actually seeing the drill results, et cetera, et cetera. But 2022 was going to be when you were getting the drilling going and getting things done. In adding Don to the project, how much focus are you going to have on that versus Copper Flat? Because we're in the footy season now. Yep. What are we doing with Copper Flat and any other projects? And if you don't mind me just going back to Don for a minute, you said that tenements need to be granted. Mm-hmm. That can take a long time, can't it?
Look, it can. There's a fair bit in that question, Kerry. So
always do that.
So what I mentioned is, yes, this year we are actively on the ground. We have drilled a lot down at Calyerup Creek.
Yep.
We've drilled at our Darling Range projects, but again, they're in the southern area down in the cricket season. We're just about to start about a 2,500 geochem sampling, soil sampling program over Copper Flats and the targets we have at Copper Flats. We've reprocessed a lot of the airborne EM that is existing over the Copper Flats area. That's been reprocessed. I should get results from that in the next week to 2 weeks.
Okay.
That helps guide our additional geophysics this year at Copper Flats, the geochemical sampling at Copper Flats, and the Don sampling that we're doing rolls in along with that. If we've got a crew, for example, going up to the Copper Flats area that we have, it's not hard at all for them to go down and do selective sampling of the horizon we need sampled down at the Don, and then come back. To answer the other part of your question about tenement applications, and in the Kimberley it can take a very long time, and historically it has taken a very long time because as a mining company you need to deal with the Kimberley Land Council to get a native title agreement for tenement grant. Part of the groundwork that we set up in 2021 was spending a long time with the traditional owners and the KLC, coming to an agreement on a Kimberley-wide heritage protection agreement that we have with the KLC that we can use as a template, not only for our existing tenements and projects that we had, but any future projects.
Oh, okay.
And so the Don falls into one of the future projects, and that gives us and I've already been in contact with them, and we will use that as a template, the existing agreement as a template for the next project, the Don. There's a process to get tenements granted. There's an objection period through the Mines Department, then 4 months for native title objection, and then tenement grant thereafter. I've already been engaged with the KLC. We can use our template. That really shortens that period right up, and it means we could get the tenements granted very, very quickly. Okay. But we can go on an application and do non-ground disturbing work. So we can't drill, but we can do non-ground disturbing work. So soil sampling and rock chip sampling to test the area. And we'll do that before the tenement is granted. And then we'll be able to make the decision on new solid information, whether we move forward with the acquisition or not. So very, very deliberately, we can actually, as I mentioned earlier, try before you buy. And that gives us an opportunity to go and test the area we want tested before the tenements are granted and before we actually have to exercise our right to purchase the project.
And what's the length of time? What's the length of time for the option? Does it wait until the tenements are granted and then there's a length of time? What's the... Yes,
it's 3 months after the tenement is granted.
Okay.
So we can do work up until then. Until tenement grant, we can do non-ground disturbing work. After tenement grant, we could go in and drill before we exercise the option or not. In reality, we will know by doing the rock chip sampling of the particular horizon we want to be testing, we will know whether we're going to exercise our option just based on that sampling. So we'll know straight away, well, not straight away, within a month and a half to 2 months. So as I said, I'm going to site next week. I'll go up there and rock chip the horizon we're interested in, ground truth it and do some rock chip sampling. Assays will take, for rare earths, is quite a process.
Yeah.
And quite expensive, but that's okay. And we'll do that. And we'll have those results probably in the next 2.5 months. And that would all be well before the tenements are granted and before we have to actually exercise our option to purchase. So, yeah, there's plenty of time, but it's an opportunity to grab a really interesting project and grab it by the balls.
Did you have your eyes on this before? Because when we were speaking in January, we didn't really speak about this. Was this brought to you? Was this a project that you were aware of? How did it come about that you've now got this option? Because there's a lot of companies out there with rare earth projects. And I guess what I'm asking is, why does Mike Dunbar and Mamba Exploration think that this one can bring shareholder value?
Yeah, a number of reasons. Look, so to answer the first part of that question, I was aware of it and have been aware of it for a long time, since this time last year, really.
Oh, okay.
Why did it come to our attention and really why did we move on it when we did? The vendor is a major shareholder of Mamba's. He had it. I'd already identified it, and he came to us and said, "Mike, I have this," and it was a good opportunity for us to get hold of it and move it forward. That's part of the story. The other reason is with PVW's discovery in October last year, it really brought the potential of their project and that horizon, that unconformity, to the opportunity further north where our project is. Certainly, Browns Range and PVW's, they have got a lot of heavy rare earths, not just light rare earths. There are different types of rare earths.
It's confusing, Mike.
It is. However, if you can distill it down to 2 points, you've got light rare earths, which are valuable, but the heavy rare earths are incredibly valuable and very, very sought after. So PVW's ground has got around 80% of the total rare earths are heavy and therefore high value. Brown's range is similar. And so you've got an area there where you've got a lot of heavy rare earths, which is what you want. That's what sets those systems, and I think that whole region apart from other companies who have got rare earth opportunities. So it's that kind of value that I think, well, we identified in the area, and it came to the fore when PVW announced their discovery and started moving forward with their project as well.
And fits in nicely with the footy season. We are running out of time, Mike Dunbar. So, as always, I know we could talk for hours. Wrap it up in a nice bow for me, if you like. You know me, 3 reasons why now. I mean, this Don project does sound interesting. You've still got your eye on the Calyerup, which has delivered very, very nicely for you. So what do you think the 3 reasons are right now for people to sit up and take notice of M24, Mamba Exploration?
Look, we are absolutely working feverishly on our existing strategy of summer and winter, which I think is a really good opportunity. Calyerup Creek is great. We're still working on that. Copper Flats and the Don add to each other, and so we can leverage off our work we're doing at Copper Flats to the Don, and we are constantly looking to further improve our portfolio. And that's the Don does that for us. So then really that's the three things for your listeners to go away with. We have got Calyerup Creek, great project. We have got Copper Flats, again a great project, and the Don just adds to that and adds to the strategy of the 2 very distinct, geographically distinct project areas and ability to continue working all the way through with news flow from projects to the south and to the north year round.
Well, copper, as I say, copper is looking very bright future. Rare earths, the same. And you know me, I love gold. So you've got 3 things that I think are very good commodities at the moment. We've run out of time, Mike, but can you come back and give us a shout out as soon as those tenements are granted and there's a bit more around Don, because it sounds to me like that could be a very exciting time for Mamba Exploration. In the meantime, thanks for joining me on Small Caps.
Great. Thanks very much, Kerry.